Hello, friends. Power is not just about who holds the throne. It is also about who shakes hands, who signs pacts, and who betrays them. In the world of the Mahajanapadas, diplomacy was as sharp as any sword, as subtle as any priest's chant. To survive among 16 ambitious states, rulers had to master more than war. They had to master the art of alliances, the fine game of balancing friends and foes. Let us begin with Magadha and Kosala, two great rivals, locked in endless contests for supremacy. Sometimes they drew their swords, and sometimes they clasped each other's hands. Marriage alliances tied kings together even when their armies plotted against one another. A daughter given in marriage was as valuable as 100 chariots, sometimes more. Yet these ties were as fragile as lotus petals on the river. A single insult, a broken promise, and war would follow. Then there was the Vaji Confederacy, that curious experiment in collective rule. They relied on councils, votes, and agreements among their clans. But even republics were not beyond diplomacy. To secure their place among monarchies, they too played the game of alliances, sometimes standing together against the mighty Magadha, other times negotiating truces to safeguard their autonomy. Further west, Gandhara acted as a cultural and political broker. Its rulers often mediated disputes, using their position as a crossroads to wield influence far beyond their borders. An alliance with Gandhara meant not just military support, but also access to distant trade routes, exotic horses, and the prestige of being tied to the wider world. But diplomacy was never only about kings and councils. Gifts, bribes, and envoys carried as much weight as warriors. A single well-timed gift of elephants could delay an invasion. A clever envoy, skilled in flattery and half-truths, could prevent bloodshed or cause it. And priests, those keepers of ritual and cosmic order, often served as intermediaries, invoking the gods to sanctify treaties. A promise sworn in the name of Agni or Varuna was no small matter, though history shows us that oaths, too, could be broken when ambition outweighed faith. Diplomacy was also about spectacle. Great gatherings were held where states declared friendships or enmities. These were not mere political meetings. They were performances. Kings arrived with their retinues, chariots glittering, banners flying, trumpets blaring. Every move was designed to impress, to intimidate, to remind others of their power. The feast after the negotiation mattered as much as the treaty itself. And yet, beneath all this, the truth remained. Alliances shifted like sandbanks in the river. Today's ally was tomorrow's enemy. States rose and fell not just because of their armies, but because of their ability or inability to navigate this shifting network of promises and betrayals. This was the age when cunning could sometimes win more than courage, when patience could be sharper than a spear, and when words spoken at the right time could build or break kingdoms. But of course, words alone were never enough. For in the end, a treaty could hold only as long as the armies behind it stood ready. The art of diplomacy could buy peace, but it could not guarantee it. Behind every handshake lurked the shadow of war. And that brings us to the next part of our journey. For what are alliances without fortresses to defend, fields to sustain, and armies to march at command? Next time, we leave the halls of diplomacy and step onto the battleground of logistics, into the forts, fields, and armies that gave power its true backbone.